Wild Rose has been raising fish and delivering fun in Wisconsin for more than a century. The Wild Rose State Fish Hatchery grows more trout and salmon than any other and produces musky, sturgeon, and walleye for Wisconsin lakes. Today we attended the Fall Fish Migration. It's a celebration at the Wild Rose Fish Hatchery at the end of October. There's fishing games and activities for all ages. We also received a guided tour of the modern facility and heard about how they raise fish today. Kids can learn to cast and identify fish. You can walk down to the 1908 hatchery and see brown trout. The new Education Center showcases the history of Wisconsin state fish hatcheries. It has a model fish hatchery lab, and there's some hands-on activity stations for the kids or adults if you choose. There's a spin browser kiosk that takes visitors behind the scenes and into the fish hatchery production. But we will also be going into the modern hatchery at the end of the video. There's also two 300-gallon aquariums. There's a record wall of fish for 26 Wisconsin fish species. There's a Lake Michigan exhibit and a model fishing pond to identify and match your catch. So one of my favorite areas of the whole education center was the area that they had on sturgeon raising and just the sturgeon fish in general. It had so much history and just sizes and information on the fish. It was really fun to take a look at. You can hear the kids in the background. They're all really excited to be there and having a lot of fun. They also have a display on what is to have been the world's largest muskie caught in the state of Wisconsin. And that is also on, the actual fish is on display at a place called the Moccasin Bar in Hayward, Wisconsin. I'll post a link to that in the video. It's really a neat place to visit. They have all different kinds of animals from Wisconsin mounted in humorous type of display. So it's something you can't even describe. Another thing that they had going on for this festival was teaching people how to tie flies. And you can see there was a lot of interest in that. So Wild Rose has been a fish hatchery for more than 100 years. They've been enhancing and restoring the fish population in Wisconsin. And with that, they've up to 50 tons of fish every year for more than 100 years. So when the fish hatchery began, Wild Rose became quite the popular place for a Sunday stroll and coming out to have just a Sunday picnic. And you can still enjoy a picnic on the hatchery grounds today. All they ask is that you please plan to take out what you bring in and pack a picnic lunch and enjoy the scenery in the historic village. And this has been a tradition since the early 1900s. So these are the original raceways, and if you look close, you can still see fish swimming in them today. The Wild Rose State Fish Hatchery grows more trout and salmon than any other and produces musky, sturgeon, and walleyes for other Wisconsin lakes. Next, we'll take you along on our guided tour as we tour the current fish hatchery.
And we have a state house across the highway, and this one that we're going to go through is the coho. All of the raceways have the same basic structure inside. There's water that will come through. The clean water goes down through the microscreen and goes through the clarifier and returns to the Pine River cleaner than before. Then the fish waste and excess food gets directed underground to the sludge storage tank, and that's where that will be accumulated. It has been in there for 15 years breaking down. This is the year we have to pump it out. So in the building here we have 250,000 brown coho salmon. As we drive by, you'll see them kind of jumping up a little bit to say hello. They were eggs last November, and they would have hatched by January. We were raising them in our startup building, which will end up at the top of the hill shortly. And then when they ran out of space, we moved them down to the raceways. These fish will be stocked out in December, and they'll be about 4 to 5 inches. And they'll be going out to Lake Michigan. Then on the left side, we have another completed in 2009. It's stocking out in 2010. So right here, we have our loading dock for our fish feed. So we have a walk-in cooler over here, and we can store our feed in there. And we also get a big truckload that we store for other hatcheries. They have a very big, you can just walk down and look and turn around and come back. They take a phone home at night, they take turns doing that. And then if they get the alarm, it gives them a readout number, and they can either shut it off if it's something they can deal with the next day, or if they have to, they get up and come down in and take care of it. So we have to keep the water flowing 24/7. So we have 44 tanks to grow out the fish. Right now, the Chinook are eggs in that stage in the incubators in the back. They will be hatching by December, and then we'll have the tanks full of fish. Every week, we will have more fish hatching out. So we go to Sturgeon Bay twice a week in October and bring back eggs from the Chinook salmon. And so every week we have more that will be hatching. So as we go forward, we'll be going into December. And then the coho started spawning already. So we have put them in our hatchery across the highway, really as a projection because
Peyton, you gotta come on my...
So I really can't wait until next spring or summer to get back and see the fish hatchery again in action when it's a little bit nicer weather. We hope that you'll enjoy and come along too.